Hi, it's Nell, and today I'm doing a video which contains time-sensitive material. It's all about how to get your Christmas cactus to bloom again. And this is the second time I'm filming this video because it's already been filmed, but I misplaced the memory card that had probably about 18 videos on it. That hurts. It really hurts. So we're going for take 2, and I'm going to download it immediately. So this is a tropical cactus and not a desert cactus. Its genus is Schlumbergia, and it is time to bloom around Thanksgiving or sometime around Christmas, and come, just around Thanksgiving or just before Thanksgiving, you will see it a lot in the stores, the nurseries, out and about. And mine happens to be red and white. It's got cuttings of both in here, but it also comes in, besides red, white, it comes in pink, magenta, I've seen it in purple, and now it comes in orange also. There's Christmas cactus and there's Thanksgiving cactus, and there's also Easter cactus, but I'm not going to really talk about that right now. But the Thanksgiving cactus and the Christmas cactus are both genus Schlumbergia, but they have a different species. But I'm just going to talk about the Christmas cactus because it's much more commonly sold. So you may actually have a Thanksgiving cactus, but you get them to bloom in the very same way. And the reason why it's taken on these tinges of reddish burgundy purple is because it has gotten a little too much sun. Now it's not going to get nearly as much sun because I have a hill behind my house, so it's already getting maybe only like bright light and not any direct sun. So it might green back up. But at the end of this video, you'll see my client's Christmas cactus, which is already in bloom, and that one is even darker because it stayed dry for a very long time. So the reason why it turns this color is due to some sort of environmental stresses. What this needs to bloom is it needs a cycle of dormancy. And by that I mean it needs at least 12 to maybe 16 hours of darkness every night. And this is not darkness with a night light or a small lamp or even some light coming in the window. It needs to be dark. And it also needs to be on the dry side. So you want to cut way back on the watering too. And the other thing that is going to force it into its bloom is by keeping it on the cooler side. So you want it in a room that's maybe 55 to 65 at the most. So if your house is 70, 75, it's going to be harder for it to sit bloom. Now, I just want to clarify what I mean by watering infrequently, cutting back on the water, because this is one of those key components that's going to force it into that dormancy it needs, is you want the top half of the soil to be dry. It might be watering every 3 weeks, it might be watering every 4 weeks, it might be watering every 5 weeks, it might be watering every 6 weeks. It depends on the size of the pot, the type of mix it's in. If your house is really cool, you aren't going to water it as much, but that is something you're going to have to be the judge of, but just make sure the top half stays dry. Now, another type of holiday plant which needs this kind of dormancy to set its color is the poinsettia. And you'll see my neighbor's poinsettia at the very end. It's like a 12-foot shrub growing every day, and it's starting to turn red. So that's another one that has a reaction to the light. And this might just mean putting it in a closet for the night, or if you have a room that you're not using that has some light in the daytime, of course, and then it's completely dark at night, that would be good. If you have a basement and you want to take it up and down every day, that's up to you. It depends on how badly you want your Christmas cactus to bloom. In case somebody gave you one that wasn't in flower and you don't know how it flowers, the flowers appear at the end of each leaf here. They don't appear here, they don't appear on stems, so they could appear up here, they could appear here, here. So when covered in blooms, which they usually are, they usually set a lot of buds, it's very, very pretty. So when buds start to appear, then you can bring it back out to a brighter spot or where it normally lives, and those blooms will open up. And each individual flower lasts about 5 days, but there are a lot of them on the cactus, so it'll probably stay in bloom for at least 3 to 4 weeks depending on the size. And the timing is up to you. This is, I think it's October 8th, so if you want it to bloom a little bit earlier, then you would start putting it in darkness now, or you could start it mid-October or the end of October, depending on how long. Well, the end of October might be cutting it tight, so you would probably want to do it by mid-October at the latest to get those blooms to appear for the holidays. I did cover in the video on Christmas cactus care, I did cover how to care for your cactus when in bloom, and also too, when you bring it out of the darkness, you want to resume the normal care, the normal watering. And one thing I want to tell you about that is never transplant a Christmas cactus when it's blooming. And if you want, you can just go ahead and remove the dead blossoms too. As they die out, it's not going to hurt the plant at all. Just go, and they'll come off very easily. Oh, and another thing about flowering is, like a lot of flowering plants, like the bird of paradise, orchids, they do better when tight in their pots. So don't hurry to transplant them every year. I transplant mine probably about every 3 or 4 years. So the tighter, the better. Like all succulents, these propagate really, really easily. I'm just throwing this in. I know I'm off topic, but I love to propagate things. It's just in my blood, just like chlorophyll is. And the best time is spring. So just in case you want, you just break off a little leaflet here, and voila, you will have new plants in no time at all. Now mine will naturally set bud and flower outside. It does. It's not setting any buds at all yet, but we are, as I said, October 8th, and it's warm. We had a really warm end of August. September was hot, and tomorrow it's supposed to be 90 degrees, so the evenings aren't getting cool, even though the days are getting shorter, and it's getting darker earlier and staying darker longer. So mine should be starting to set bud. Bud. Why do I keep on saying that? Set bud sometime soon. So mine may not be a Christmas cactus. It may end up being more like a New Year's cactus or a Martin Luther King Jr. Day cactus. So be sure to check my post on Christmas cactus care, because this is not your typical cactus. It's not a desert cactus, it's a tropical cactus. So it has different care requirements. Ooh, these nice fleshy leaves. So just remember, it needs that period of darkness, it needs to have the water reduced, and it also needs to have the temperature reduced, and your Christmas cactus should be flowering away for you for the holidays. As a side note, I just want to show you this Christmas cactus. I'm up in the San Francisco Bay Area doing a Halloween decorating job, as you can see. And this is a Christmas cactus that I brought up to my client's house last year. And it was in a basket. The cyclamen and the cypress had died. And this was just put under the table. And I saw it and I was like, holy moly, it's blooming again. So this is almost a Halloween cactus because it's like the first week in October. But you can see the blooms coming in on it. And it was watered maybe about once a month or every other month, but because it was under the table and this area is very close to the coast, this is only like 7 blocks away, it tends to be foggy and it gets darker. It can get a little darker earlier. So it has gotten the darkness it needs, and it's blooming in early October. I'm throwing this poinsettia into this video because they need the same darkness for the same amount of time that the Christmas cactus do. And because this one grows outdoors, it is naturally getting the reduced amount of light. And you can see it's turning red. It's now October 8th. And by the end of November, this plant will be red, 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 and it eventually gets to about 15 feet tall. So I hope you have found this video about getting your Christmas cactus to bloom again to be helpful. And please subscribe because I have a lot more videos about gardening, plants, flowers, the holidays coming your way. And thank you for all your comments and your likes. I really, really appreciate them. And speaking of gardening, let's get out in the garden and make the world a more beautiful place. And as always, I thank you so much for watching. And be sure and check the post that goes along with this video. Thanks so much. Bye.